send me one of your prints?
Huh? Eight and you got it.
Huh?
You're not in to make the money. Hey, let me have eight.
Okay, you got it.
Appreciate it.
What do you want?
2 larges, 6 extra larges.
Wait a minute.
Got the cash?
Yeah, I'm not. 6 extra large, you say, or 4?
Yeah.
6?
Just passing by?
No, actually, I'm here to just grab a couple t-shirts.
And you want 2 larges?
2 larges, yeah.
Nobody wants any mediums. I'll give the mediums away.
Yeah, throw one in, huh?
I'll give them to the girls. I get a break even on this deal.
Appreciate it.
You betcha.
Thanks a lot.
You know, count those, make sure you got 8.
See what we got here. Looks good.
That's good artwork.
Looks good. You do that?
No, my partner did. Donna
Yeah?
Corning, yeah. She's quite a good character.
All right.
Cartoonist. She's really good.
Sounds good. Appreciate it.
I'm trying to blind you.
Yeah, that's a killer.
Sure.
George, tell me your last name again.
Johnson.
And tell me about why you're doing this and
I'm making a statement that I think it's time for Bundy to go.
told me earlier you were from Utah?
Yeah, I lived out there in the mid-70s while Mr. Bundy was doing his thing out there. It was just a very scary place to live for about, I guess, about a month. People kept turning up missing and things. I had a wife and a small child, and I didn't let them go anywhere. I didn't go with them. You know,
What's the purpose behind the shirt? You said before that you only had like 100 and some odd made up. How many did you make up?
144.
Any particular reason that number?
Well, I went and bought them on a Saturday, and the wholesale suppliers, you know, they're not, so I came up with these, and I figured that's enough to make a statement. I'm not in this thing to get rich. If I wanted to get rich, I'd have made 60 dozen of them, probably sold every darn one of them right here, probably tomorrow. But I'm making my statement. I think the governor's done well this time. I forgive him for his sales tax on services.
Just out luck, just out luck. 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 Just out luck, just out luck.
Ted Bundy, for one thing, just didn't appear to be a murderer.
Ted is not that kind of a person.
What kind of a person would you describe him as?
As a good, loving, fine young man.
Maybe a fine young man by mother's standards, except that Bundy was involved in a cross-country trail of as many as 36 brutal murders of young women. As the trial went into its final week, Bundy claimed he didn't know how he got caught up in the web of crimes.
Court will come to order.
Excuse me, but it might be humorous if it weren't so serious. I don't know. Police officers, even in their best efforts to remain objective and find the right person, seem to get caught up in it themselves. They want to solve crimes, and they're willing to take the convenient alternative, and the convenient alternative is me.
Seen by an eyewitness leaving the scene of the crime. That Ted Bundy's hair matched hairs found in a pantyhose mask. that a bite mark left on one of the victims could have been made only by Ted Bundy. The defendant was cool and collected throughout most of the trial, often acting as his own lawyer. The week began with the prosecution introducing evidence to prove that Ted Bundy was the man throughout the trial. She gave him moral support as well as suits to wear so that he looked more like a lawyer than a crazed killer. As the trial progressed, Bundy's behavior became increasingly disruptive. He refused to come to court one day as a protest against jail conditions. He openly fought with his attorneys, eventually firing one. Psychiatrists had claimed that Ted Bundy had a personality of a Richard Speck or Jack the Ripper. Tuesday night, the jury decided that the handsome 32-year-old was indeed capable of committing two of the most heinous murders in Florida history. They returned a verdict of guilty on all 7 counts.
Murder in the first degree upon one Margaret Bowman. This court adjudges you guilty. Murder in the first degree upon Lisa Levy. This court adjudges you guilty. Attempted murder in the first degree upon one Karen Chandler, one Kathy Kleiner, and committing assault upon a person therein to which Cheryl Thomas, the jury of your peers, having found you guilty, this court adjudges you guilty.
Bundy had no reaction to the verdict. He had a wink and a smile for spectators as he left the courtroom. As the week ended, the jurors began to prepare their recommended sentence. Tomorrow they will tell the judge whether Ted Bundy, the man who did not appear to be a murderer, should die in the electric chair. Rebecca Chase, ABC News, Miami.
In the first degree upon one Margaret Bowman, guilty is charged, so say we all, Rudolph V. Tremont Foreman.
Ted Bundy sat there calmly, silently, as the guilty verdict was read. The jury had taken 6 hours to decide that the former law student was guilty of the strangulation murders of 2 Florida co-eds and guilty of the attempted murder of 3 other young women. Minutes before the verdict was returned, Bundy told ABC News in a telephone interview that he was prepared for the worst.
Ted, are you prepared for a guilty verdict?
Yes, I think so. It's never happened to me like quite this way before. I've never been convicted of murder before, and I hope and pray I won't be. But if it happens, then I just have to work with it.
Afterwards, Bundy's mother said she would continue to stand by her son's side.
It's wrong. We'll appeal it. It's just... What else can I say? The family will be devastated by this, but we stick behind him because we know he's not guilty, as do all his friends.
But the lawyer who handled Bundy's defense until the final days of the trial said he thought Bundy himself lost the case.
He was guilty of poor judgment. He was guilty of allowing his emotional inclinations to override an effective defense in his case.
The jury will now return on Saturday to make their recommendation as to whether Ted Bundy should be sent to the electric chair. Rebecca Chase, ABC News, Miami. Before final sentencing, Ted Bundy made one last plea of innocence.
I'm not asking for mercy, for I find it somewhat absurd to ask for mercy for something I did not do.
But the jurors said they had no doubts that they had convicted the right man.
The hair, the bite marks, and all this, it's just a little bit too much to say, well, it was just a coincidence that he just happened to be in this particular place at this particular time, and it happened, and someone else could have done it.
In the end, the judge sentenced Ted Bundy to die in the electric chair. Later, Judge Edward Coward said it was not an easy decision.
It's not a pleasant thing to do. It's an obligation, just like when you answer a draft call. And the lieutenant says you climb over the hill, you got to do it, but it isn't something that you want to do or like to do.
Bundy was sent to Florida State Prison to await execution. However, it will be several years before Bundy's appeals are finished. The first appeal must be filed within 30 days. Bundy also faces a September murder trial in Lake City, Florida. Rebecca Chase, ABC News, Miami.
This morning there's been a series of telephone calls that we want to respond to, of which I've given response to, and this has to do with Ted Bundy. where we had inquiry by his civil attorney, Diana Weiner, and also by the Seventh Circuit State Attorney, John Tanner, and also by Mr. Gardner, who is the Chief Assistant. In each instance, it was to ask for time for Ted Bundy, that he wanted to make time for debriefing with law enforcement agencies. The request for time varied, but one was as long as 3 years, and then he would need additional time to get ready for death. And we have sent word back to each of these individuals that the rendezvous with electric chair will be on next Tuesday at 7 o'clock in the morning. And that I have instructed Richard Duggar earlier this morning to make certain that Ted Bundy and those that represent him and those that wish to talk to him have all the time that can be provided between now and 7 a.m. on Tuesday next. We're not going to have the system manipulated in terms of trying to extend time by now wanting to talk to law enforcement people that he toyed with for years as they try to gain information from him. So that our answer to each of these requests is no. That on January 24th at 7 a.m., the death warrant will be in effect.
Have you had a request, Governor, from other states and law enforcement states?
Not really. But I think one of the things to be made clear here to law enforcement, which I think they realize more than anyone else, what Ted Bundy has done, is that you don't negotiate with a murderer. You don't negotiate with a killer. And he's been in jail for 11 years. He certainly could have come clean if there are other occasions, but he has used the court, and now all of a sudden he wants to tell the truth. And therefore, this is a public statement in response to inquiries, of which one evidently made its way to one of the newspapers today, that we are not considering that request.
Did John Tanner talk with you personally?
No, he talked to Mr. Cummings from the Florida Department of Law Enforcement, but Mr. Gardner did talk, I believe, directly with Andrea.
Did they mention specifically what he wants to talk about?
I don't know if it was specifically, but had to do with other cases.
Did they name the cases?
I don't believe they named specific cases, no.
Did they characterize the offers that he was
That he would need time beyond January 24th, as much as perhaps 3 years, and then he would need more time to prepare for death.
Governor,
that was one of the requests.
Who mentioned 3 years?
That was Mr. Tanner.
Do you have any sympathy for those family members, survivors of victims who may have questions in their own mind, even outside Florida, other states, who would like to have this resolved? If he would come forward and make a confession?
For him to be negotiating for his life over the bodies of victims is despicable.
Were you told that he plans to admit his involvement in those cases?
We don't have any hard information as to what he will do, other than he's going to need time to get it done.
Do you think the stories could be that long, that it would take that long of them?
I'm not going to speculate how, but it could be that I need to have my memory refreshed from the geography of the area so I can pinpoint where perhaps I buried a body. I mean, I'm just illustrating what could occur. And we're simply, he has manipulated the system in this state and in this nation for almost 11 years. And now he's trying to manipulate in a different way.
Governor, have you given any consideration to the fact that if he did talk and come clean about all of his crimes, that the families of some of those victims in the other state might at least be given the peace of mind of knowing where their daughters were buried or what happened to them?
We have Florida victims. And as governor of the state of Florida, we are very concerned about the victims here in Florida, and we're carrying out justice in the state of Florida.
Does that mean you're more concerned about the Florida victims than the out-of-state victims?
No, we're not, but we tried them on cases known to us and was found guilty on cases known to us, and has been denied his appeal on cases known to us, and have signed a death warrant on a case known to us.
Do you take his request for more time as a sign that he expects to go this time?
I don't know that. I do know that he has basically lied through the entire process, and why anyone would believe he'll tell the truth now is somewhat beyond me. it's too early to, I believe, make judgment for tonight. Hopefully, it will not be the case.
Governor, you mentioned the word hoodlums. Does that mean that you don't find much credence in the community claims of issues of community jobs, housing, that sort of
No,
thing?
that's not it. What I'm saying is that the way that, and I just happen to remember that the incident did occur on Martin Luther King Day, and grievances were always addressed through nonviolent but a very effective way of communication. And that in this particular case,
If you were a mockery, now justice is done. He's fried like a fritter, a coffin for bun. He begged for more time to tell it all. Martinez just laughed, said let the switch fall. The police did smirk and say with a grin, you had 10 years, you should have heard then. Your teeth left an impression on everyone's mind. Now you're invited to die on time. The candlelit liberals stand over and mourn, but we're on the other side. Look on in scorn. He bludgeoned the poor girls all above the head. Now we're all ecstatic. Ted Bundy is dead. All right.
Kill a motherfucker.
Thank you.
We gotta get a spot chill.
A lot of movement around it over there.
Can you see anything through there?
And I see anything through your short bars.
Tell me what you see.
I see some black bars. I see a picture on the wall. I see some men walking around. People staring out the window. Is there? Yeah.
Anybody you recognize?
Yeah, I recognize you.
Oh, you do not.
I'm putting you on there.
They've already arrived. What? No, but the written press here probably has that better than anybody. I don't know. I mean, you need to find somebody with a tele. I'm Pat Roberts. I'm the Executive Vice President of Florida Broadcasters. But Dobson will be here in...
As I'm sure you're aware at this point, Ted Bundy met with Dr. James Dobson from 2:30 to 3:30 today and did tape a one-on-one interview. I can't comment on the contents of that interview. It's my understanding that Dr. Dobson intends to stop over here in a few minutes, so and I'm sure he'll be glad to discuss something of that with you. Right now, Bundy's with his attorneys. He's being served for supper tonight a meal of a burrito, rice, and salad. This evening's schedule includes a legal visit with 5 attorneys from 8 to 10 p.m., a social visit from 10 to midnight with James Boone, John Tanner, Marcia Tanner, and a Methodist minister from Gainesville. His name is Fred Lawrence.
Who's James Boone?
James Boone is listed on the visiting list as a friend.
Fred Lawrence?
Is that Carol's son?
Fred Lawrence is the minister. I don't know. There will be a final contact visit from midnight to 1 a.m. with John and Marcia Tanner and James Boone.
Can you tell us what his mood is now?
Excuse me?
His mood?
The hour that I saw him during the interview, he was quiet most of the time. He seemed a little depressed at times.
Can you identify yourself, please, sir?
I'm Bob McMaster with the Department of Corrections.
Any word from the Supreme Court?
I have not heard anything. The department has not been notified of any change in the warrant. Everything is still set for 7 a.m. tomorrow.
Want to talk to Colorado?
Is there any room in this schedule you just outlined here for the governor's appointed psychiatrist to come in and see him?
As things stand at this time, there is a 3-hour period that I haven't accounted for here from 5 to 8 p.m. I can't tell you what's going to take place at that time. We don't have anything scheduled right now.
Bob, when he talked...
Not to me. I don't know anything about that.
Bob, did you talk to Colorado today? And if so, for how long?
I can't update you any more than I did earlier today as far as law enforcement visits are concerned. There was a tight schedule with the interviews and so forth.
Do you know if he has any more confessions today?
I don't know. I can't comment on that anyhow.
You mean you cannot because, or that you don't know?
As far as well, both. Let's put it this way.
Could you explain yourself?
We're not in the position of commenting as far as any discussions with other agencies that are investigating crimes. It'll be up to those agencies to release information on what they ascertain.
Bob, when you say that he seems to be depressed at times during this period, does he seem to be stricken with the finality of what is about to happen?
I think that's a big part of it. He's speaking to Mike. It appeared to me that he realizes that there's only a few hours left.
Can you repeat that?
It appeared to me that he realizes that there's only a few hours left between now and 7 a.m. tomorrow, and he realizes the finality of the situation.
Did he get emotional?
Somewhat.
How so?
Oh, yes, yes.
Was he crying or?
Oh, he bowed his head quite a bit and appeared to be a little bit upset.
Did he cry?
Perhaps. It appeared that way. After 1 a.m., there's nothing planned until about 5. He'll be offered a final meal of steak and eggs at 5 a.m. tomorrow. We'll be picking up witnesses here at this location at 5:30 to take over for viewing the execution, of course. At 5:30 or thereabouts, they'll shave inmate Bundy's head and lower right leg. He'll be showered, dressed in dark blue trousers, a white shirt, and will be led in for execution at 7 a.m. They shave the entire hair area of the head. Not that I'm aware.
Any family contact? Which leg did you say?
Lower right leg. There are no plans for family visits at this time.
Bob, has he said whether he wants to get cremated?
A funeral home in Gainesville is handling those arrangements. I can't tell you what's been decided beyond that. I don't know.
During all of this, has he ever said he's sorry or why he killed all these people?
That's not something I can comment on at this time.
Bob, I know you can't talk about what you might have told investigators, but did he meet with any investigators from Colorado or anyone else?
There were several investigators in the building today, but as to how far their attempts at meetings went, I can't really tell you.
What about the meetings with the psychiatrist today?
I can't comment on that either. I don't know what the express purpose of that was, as a matter of fact.
Will you be out here with us again later this evening?
There really won't be any more updates here this evening unless there should be a change in the status of the whole situation.
How about 5:30 in the morning, or you won't?
5:30 tomorrow morning, I will have some new information for you. That's really.
hopeful of a stay, do you know, you think?
It did not appear to me to be that
Is he pretty
way.
much resigned himself that this is the end?
It appeared that way to me, yes.
He appeared what?
It appeared that he was accepting the finality of the situation. That's about all I have to say here tonight.
Bob, can we talk you into coming out one more time, after 10 o'clock before the late show, just in case there is anything?
If there's anything new, I will be back around that time frame. Absolutely. It's my understanding that there are 3 on standby in case they're needed, but there's no.
Are they reviewing records?
I can't tell you that. I don't know. They're
Where
on
are they?
standby at this point.
In the prison, or on standby in the
Or are they at
prison?
Lake Butler?
They're just on standby. That's all I can tell you. There after 1 o'clock. No visits after 1.
Will you have any relatives or friends in among the witnesses?
I don't know. I have not seen the official witness list for tomorrow morning. Relatives would not be permitted.
When will we be able to see the official witness list, Bob? Tomorrow morning?
Yes, we'll make that.
Nine.
Where you are,
Bundy, Stark, Florida. Face my ready.
Take a link.
Is this something about Bundy that attracts you here, or if you brought, is it the death penalty in general that you've been making a statement about?
I support the death penalty all the way. I feel like if a man kills somebody, you ought to pay for it. It should be expedited.
Yeah. And do you think other people are going to show up here too, along with your 2 of you?
There's not too many in the past have.
Not too many supporters usually?
It's mainly the reason I came out originally. Just nobody seems to care.
Mr. Rex, again, what is your message?
That I'm for the death penalty.
Why should Bundy burn in hell?
There's not the 2 places he's supposed to go the way I was brought up to believe. You go to heaven or hell. Would you want him to go to heaven? Then he should burn in hell.
Yeah. Why should he though?
What?
Why should he?
Why shouldn't?
Can you tell us why you're angry?
Why shouldn't he? If he did what to your daughter, what he did to that little girl, where would you want him to go?
Did you know the leeches?
No, no.
You say you're here for Spindlelink? Why were you here for that one too?
Because nobody else was coming out. We had about 75 to 100 protesters. The news media had advertised was going to march here from Gainesville, Jacksonville. None of them was from Florida, hardly.
Do you think that maybe more people support the death penalty in Ted Bundy's case?
Pardon?
Do you think more people are on your side when it comes to Ted Bundy?
When it comes to Ted Bundy, where's your protesters at? They crawl in a hole. They know when to fold them and run back in a hole.
What do you think of Ted Bundy?
You don't want to put it on the news. I think if he dies in the morning, it'd be the best thing that's happened in 11 years. He has the right for an appeal, all the way through. But when he gets to the top, he should have said it all. There should be no more of this repeat stuff over and over and over. He comes back and dreams up a new excuse. And the system lets him do it.
So it's time?
Oh, yeah, it's time.
Mrs. Ricks?
Yes.
Okay. Can you tell us why you have chosen to be out here?
In support of my husband and what I mean, I believe the same thing. It's just dragged on too long. We have a daughter that's the same age as that little girl that was killed in Lake City, and that kind of got to me at the time that it happened.
So if you had a message out here tonight, what would it be? Specifically about Mr. Bundy.
Well, other than just that I think it's time that his sentence was carried out. I don't know of anything else.
He should die.
Yes.
He's had enough chances, you think?
Yes, definitely.
Will you tell me again why he should die then?
Well, for the crimes he's committed. The atrocious crimes he's committed. And over. It's not just one. Just, I certainly wouldn't want to have him out on the street again.
What do you say to those people who say the death penalty is inhumane?
How do the victims feel? And their families that are left?
Mr. Ricks, what do you say to those people who say this is inhumane, the death penalty?
I'd like for him to sit right side of him, hold his hand, while the smoke curls.
You sound angry.
I'm angry.
All right, thank you.
At any of them.
Put the belt on.
I can tell you that everything's moving ahead with plans for the execution at 7 a.m. Ted Bundy spent the last 5 hours in his cell at death watch with Gainesville Minister Fred Lawrence at cell front. They did spend part of that time praying. Bundy was offered a last meal about 40 minutes ago. He was offered steak and eggs, and he refused it. Earlier last night, he visited with the Tanners and James Boone. That visit lasted until about 1 a.m. today. Prison officials are now preparing to shave his head and prepare him for execution at 7 o'clock. That's about all the update I have at this time. If we can get the official media witnesses together, I'll field a couple questions while they're gathering over here to my left.
Did you say he refused the last meal?
That's right. He did refuse the last meal.
So the last people he met with were the Tanners, is that correct?
The Tanners, he was with the Methodist minister at that time also, and James Boone.
What's his mental state?
I understand that when he received word of his last appeal being turned down, he was visibly shaken.
Did he get any sleep?
I don't believe so.
Did Dorothy Lewis make any declaration in regard to sanity or insane?
I don't know.
Are your three psychiatrists still on the prison property awaiting any possible call that may come for them to do an evaluation?
I did not ask that question. I don't know.
When will we officially know he has passed away, the execution is completed and carried out? How will we know that?
We'll be coming back here immediately after the execution.
Is there any type of sign that we can look for? Can we see you all walking out of the building?
You may be able to see us boarding the van. It'll depend. You'll probably need binoculars.
Where will that be?
It'll be down near Q Wing.
Down on the
It's this end of the prison, that's correct.
Flag or any kind of signal or anything?
You'll have to ask some of the official witnesses about that. It's up to them.
Bob, can you tell me what time
He learned that his appeal had been turned down about midnight. I understand he received a call from his attorney, Paulie Nelson.
Did he say anything?
I'm not familiar with the details of that.
Are his attorneys present here now? Do you know?
I presume that at least one of them is.
Have there been any suicide attempts this last few days?
No.
Do you know what time you're going to bring him down to the death chamber?
He'll be brought to the death chamber right at 7 o'clock.
Earlier when you said,
I don't know.
earlier when you said that part of this morning was spent in prayer, was that alone or was that with the Methodist minister?
Could you repeat that, please?
This morning you said that the last few hours, part of it was spent in prayer. Was that by himself or with the
That was with the Methodist minister at cell front. The Methodist minister remained at cell front with him from 1 o'clock on till just about the present time.
Could you elaborate
What's his name?
on visibly shaken?
The minister's name is Fred Lawrence. The body will be taken to the medical examiner's office in Gainesville. From there, it will be turned over to a Gainesville funeral home. No family members were present for visits last night. I can't comment beyond that.
Can you elaborate on major effect that you said at midnight he found out his appeal was denied and you said it had a major effect on him?
I understand he was extremely subdued after that and was visibly shaken when he was informed.
Have they decided yet on any funeral arrangements?
Official witness? Friend he's listed as. I believe he's related to Carol. No, you'll have to check funeral arrangements.
The superintendent, what's his name? Barton, did you say?
Superintendent Tom Barton is the one who directed.
Last night.
B-A-R-T-O-N.
Did Bundy sleep at all last night?
I don't know. As I said, he had someone with him at Southfront most of the time, so I assume he did not get
Who was with him?
any sleep. The Methodist minister gave. There was a slight tensing of the body, and his hands were clenched somewhat. The funeral home that you just asked about is the Williams Thomas Funeral Home in Gainesville.
How are other prisoners in queue with? Quiet there?
Is there another witness, Bob? We have another witness here.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know. Excuse me. It was on for about a minute. It was interrupted after about 1 minute of the cycle.
Was that enough? Was that sufficient?
He appeared to be making some eye contact with people when he first came in. After that, he bowed his head after he was strapped into the chair.
Who was his last visitor?
Oh, yes. He was very close proximity to all the witnesses.
I understand you might be releasing a tape he had with a psychiatrist. Was there wish to release that tape?
I don't have any details on that. That would not be released through us.
Bob, who was his last visitor? Was it the minister?
Yes, I would have to say the Methodist minister was his last outside visitor.
Was it a guy Lawrence?
Fred Lawrence of Gainesville.
Was he alone from about 1 o'clock to 5?
No, he was with the Methodist minister for most of that time.
Is the executioner a volunteer job? Is that something that people is that a volunteer
No, the
job?
executioner is paid.
Did he answer the minister, or was he
It's not. I can't comment on the selection process for that, other than to say that our executioners were chosen when a series of ads were run back in 1979. And we're still operating from that list. All executioners remain anonymous, and we will not say anything that would help to identify them.
Is there any comments from the governor's office, do you know?
You can check with them for that.
Was a minister a volunteer or chaplain?
When the Supreme Court rejected the final?
He received word about midnight last night. I believe he received a call from his attorney, Paulie Nelson, and they said he was visibly shaken when he received that word.
And here, as lawyers, ever raised insanity issues?
I don't know. That's not in my area of expertise.
How are the other prisoners in queue with? Any disturbance or?
No reports from there. Everything appears to be normal in the prison.
The execution cycle was stopped after 1 minute.
Yes.
Why?
It normally is stopped when it appears that sufficient voltage has been applied. The people inside the execution chamber trip a switch that stops the cycle. I don't know. You'd have to ask them.
Who was the physician then check him and pronounce him dead at that moment? Just the one.
The physician who made the final pronouncement was Dr. Frank Kilgo. He's chief physician at Florida State Prison.
Which building is it?
There's a Q wing. It's the large light green colored building behind me. It has about 8 or 9 wings jutting out of it that you can see there, I think. The end wing is Q wing, the one that juts out the very far end from the administration building. Yes, sir.
Well, how would you describe in a word his general demeanor? Was he calm? Was he apprehensive? Was he shaken?
Subdued, I would say.
Who were the other witnesses besides the 12 reporters and Representative Mackey?
I'll hand out a sheet on that for you. There are various people. Some of them have been associated with this case since early on, back in 1979, 1980. One of them was a forensic examiner. I can't tell you the rest of the people. I do have a list here I'll be able to hand out to you, though.
Did he struggle in any way today, Bob?
No, he did not.
Were you one of the witnesses in addition to the 12?
Oh, yes, I was there.
Okay.
That's all they said.
That's all they said. I think that this has gone on too long for them, and it has to be very painful. Every time there's an article, every time there's a picture of Ted Bundy in the paper, or their daughter in the paper, it has to be a very painful experience for them.
All right, well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Can I get your name again?
My name is Randy, R-A-N-D-Y, Mackey, M-A-C-K-E-Y.
And you are from the
state attorneys?
No, I'm an elected state representative for the 12th district, which includes Columbia County and Lake City area.
Can you describe, Mr. Mackey, the final moments as you saw Ted Bundy being led into the room?
Well, as he was led into the room, he was visibly shaken. He needed assistance. His face was very drawn, but once he was placed into the chair, they began to place the straps around his leg and his arms and his waist. You could see him regain his composure at that time, and that's when he started to make eye contact with those sitting in the room across from him through the glass.
How bad was his composure as he was being brought in?
He was visibly shaken. He had to be carried. I don't think he could have made it into the room on his own without that help.
And were there any other words besides?
Yes, he asked, in his last words, they placed a microphone and asked him would he like to say anything. He said, yes, give my love to my family and to my friends, which I thought was somewhat odd, because look at all the family and the friends that will never be able to give or receive that love due to the murders that he has carried out over the years that he had been out.
So are you satisfied now that the justice has been done?
I'm very satisfied that justice has been done. I'm just disappointed that it has taken this long to carry it out.
And do you think that a change is needed in the
I think
law?
a change is very much needed in the law. I think everyone should have due process as far as the law is concerned, but it should never take 11 years to carry out. I think this could have been condensed easily into 4 or 5 year time, and that would be much more realistic.
And what do you think should be done to the Ted Bundys of the world?
I think what should be done to the Ted Bundys of the world is what you saw here today. Make the streets much safer for the rest of us. I think I was asked a question earlier, how could I be such a proponent of the death penalty? I would much rather see a Ted Bundy put to death than all the young ladies who did die as a result of Ted Bundy living.
Thank you. I thank you for being so gracious and talking to all of us. This is for tonight's evening news, and we're just wondering if... Are you okay now?
Yeah.
Give us your name first.
My name is Kenneth Boatwright.
How do you spell the last name?
Boatright.
And
Boatwright, just like a boat ride.
Okay. And what do you do, sir?
I retired a couple of years ago from the Florida Highway Patrol.
So you're a private citizen?
I'm a private citizen at this point.
How would you describe what you saw?
With the execution? A very dignified carrying out of a death penalty. I mean, I'll go back to try to start from the front if you'd like, and then you can cut out what you don't like. But when Mr. Bundy entered the room in which the electric chair is, the witnesses and the news and the people that were there were already inside. To me, when he walked in, that might have been a little something you didn't expect. He seemed to be just a little surprised that those people were there at that point. And maybe just a little shaken, but he sat down in a chair, and it seemed to me to completely regain his composure. He did look down, and some of the others was asking about him looking down. He did look down, but to me, I believe he was looking down at the man that was tying his strap on his leg. I don't believe he was wanting to avoid eye contact, because he did raise his head and he did make eye contact with people in the room. He acknowledged some of the people in the room when he had the microphone, and then he said he had no more to say. And about this time is when the sheet, veil, or whatever you want to call it, goes over the front of the face, so you can't see his face anymore after that point. And
I heard he clenched his fists.
He was, even before the execution started, when he sat down and when they buckled him up, he did his fists like that, but he kept the index fingers out on both index fingers. This is the way it was, he said. And he said that way all the time. Those fingers never moved. I think probably they clenched up a little more, but the position that they were in before the current is the position they stayed in.
After seeing this, any second thoughts about the death penalty?
No, sir. No, sir. I think it's a very appropriate penalty for crimes of this nature.
Officer. Thank you very much.
I think the witness people will be, and I will too.
Is there a number you can be reached at?
Okay, just let me know. Okay, let me know.
We're with ABC News, and I trouble you once again to tell us what you saw, what you can.
Okay. You're talking about from the time I got in? Well, Bundy was brought into the room at about 7 o'clock, or precisely at 7 o'clock. Bundy appeared to me to be very resigned to his fate. He appeared to have made peace with himself and with his maker. He appeared to be prepared emotionally and mentally for what lay ahead. He acknowledged the presence of several people in the room. He sought out and made eye contact with his attorney, Jim Coleman, with the chaplain, acknowledged their presence, nodded to them, mouthed some words, made eye contact with me and mouthed some words. I can't tell you what he said. I returned the greeting. And when he was asked to make a final statement, he told his attorney and the chaplain to share his love with his friends and his family. A very brief statement. Bundy offered no resistance, appeared very calm and very resigned.
Someone had mentioned he had to be carried in. That's not true.
That's not true. Not true at all. They are always brought in with a wrist bracelet with a handle attached, and they cannot offer a great deal of resistance to that because as pressure is put on it, it binds on the wrist. And but Bundy offered no resistance whatsoever.
Did he look scared, nervous?
He looked much calmer than I expected. This is the second execution I had attended, and the other execution, the person to be executed appeared much more nervous and frightened than Bundy did. I promised this lady a live interview. Pardon me here.
Yes, and the searching was the one that located the body.
Located Kimberly. You located the body yourself.
Right. Well, I was the one that located. I had a lot of help. I won't take credit for it all.
Are you a state trooper?
Right.
You're the one that first spotted her.
Thank you.
Right.
Yeah.
Missing on February the 9th and was found on April the 7th. So without giving you much detail to what it looked like, you can just pretty much imagine what was left there, because it was during some warm days. It was starting to be spring, and although when she went missing was in February, which is cool days, by the time we found her, we had had some quite warm weather. There was not really a whole lot left there. It was not a situation where she could have been identified by facial, for somebody looking at the face.
Were you searching for the body at the time?
Yes, right.
Did you ever meet with her family?
I did not know them prior to all this happening. I have come to know the family, particularly the father, since this has happened. He's in a business record business, which tows vehicles for the highway patrol. It puts me in contact with him on a pretty regular basis, and I've come to know him quite well. I know the brother and the mother, but not like I've come to know the father.
How do you think he's going to react to all this, and how has he been in the past when Bundy's gotten stays?
Well, it's been frustrating to him, and I really, until he got the official news today, I really don't believe that he thought it was going to happen even this time, and I'm sure it's quite a relief to him. It's been like everyone else, he's been pretty frustrated with all the stays and the long drawn-out process that has occurred in the last several years.
Yeah. No second thoughts in your mind that this is the right thing to do?
No, sir, none whatsoever. None whatsoever.
What thoughts went through your mind when he was actually executed? Did you think back to Kimberly Leach?
Yeah, I thought back and felt like justice had been done, but I wondered if he really went through as much as she really did prior to death. It was just a satisfaction to me to know that it was finally over.
A young kid, a young child, like he did, doesn't deserve to live. I wouldn't myself. I don't believe.
How would you describe how you feel today now that he's been executed?
It makes me feel different. It makes me feel better. I had just about lost all faith in the justice system. But I feel today much better about it.
He deserved it, huh?
He deserved every minute of it, yes, sir. I certainly do.
He deserved it?
He deserved every minute of it. Everything he got, he deserved it.
Do you think he'll ever feel the pain that this young girl felt? Even in his electrocution?
No, sir, I don't, because I don't believe he'd be tortured as that little girl was tortured. I really don't.
So it's
He might be claiming that his sins are forgiven, but they are not. I don't believe they are forgiven. I don't believe that.
He changed this town? That incident?
Yes, it changed it quite a bit. It certainly did. Had everyone frightened. Frightened to let the children out on the streets or out on the playgrounds. It's very much so, yes, sir.
All right, thank you for talking to us. Huh?
I believe, as I said, I believe people can rest at ease now knowing that he is out of the way and there's no chance of him escaping to come back to do the same thing that he has done prior. I don't believe I believe the town, or believe the people will be more at ease than ever before. I trust and pray they will.
This is the only way to guarantee that, though, with his execution.
That's right. That's the only way to guarantee it. Certainly was. And I admire our governor of the state of Florida for his stand that he put on it. But he particularly said no, that he would not stay his execution. I admire him for it.
Yeah, well, just how you feel today now that you know that this man has been executed.
I feel a sense of relief. I feel it's been long overdue. And I've felt all along there was something wrong with the judicial system as to why this didn't happen sooner. To let a man go on that has killed one girl after another and show no remorse, there's got to be something wrong with the judicial system. And I am for the death penalty. And I'm glad that it's over with. But I do hope that the good Lord has mercy on his soul. I really believe that. And
Do you think he'll ever feel that he felt, and even in his execution, the pain he inflicted on so many others?
I don't believe so. I don't believe that he had that inside of him. I don't really believe he had any feeling of remorse whatsoever. I've watched him on television. I watched him the few times that he was interviewed. He just didn't seem like he showed any feeling whatsoever toward another human being.
How did this town feel toward Ted Bundy?
There was a lot of anger. A lot of it. You could feel it in the air. And it's been in the air ever since. And my heart really went out to the Leach family, just like everyone did.
There was anger and now?
Well, I think there's probably still a little bit of anger left, but I think it'll gradually subside. So, but I really believe justice has been served. And but I still felt like last night I was so afraid there were going to be another stay of execution because there had been so many before.
What is your name, ma'am?
Barbara Wilhite.
How do you spell the last name?
Wilhite.
Okay. And you're Mr.?
James Cecil Wilhite.
Okay.
Yeah, it'd be very hard.
How do you see the execution?
I think justice was served because since I've been living in Lake City for 9 years, it's been a lot of difference. I can tell a lot of anger has been at several people I talked to. I wasn't here when it happened, but I've got.
Any thought about whether or not the death penalty is the right thing to do?
I've thought all along it was. I've lived in 3 different states, and it's been very well that,
So how
that
would
it
you
happened.
describe how people in the city feel today now that he's been executed?
I think a lot of people will be relieved, very relieved. looking forward to it. But I know the ones I've talked to.
Of course, the Leach family will always miss their daughter, but I believe they'll probably feel better about it now, you know, and maybe they can have some peace of mind and let it rest. Because they've been in the headlines on it as much as he has.
Thank you very much. If you would give me a second, you would.
No, that's okay. Not me.
Well, just tell me what you just said. How do you
We're just glad it's over. Should have happened a long time ago.
Do you feel safer now? Why was this town so ready to have an execution?
Well, what he did was, you know, we wouldn't want it to happen to our children.
Deserved it?
Absolutely.
How about yourself? What do you think? How do you feel now that you've heard he's finally been executed?
I think it should have happened a long time ago because at the time I was living in Tallahassee when he murdered the 2 sorority sisters up there. And when you live in a town where something like this happens, it really does something to your emotions.
You're ready to see him die?
Yes.
Do you think he suffered the pain that he may have inflicted on other people?
No way. What he did to that little 12-year-old girl, no way. And what he did to the other women?
No way what?
The pain that he put them through, and it's the victims that has to pay for those crimes. Can you imagine what the mothers and fathers are, you know, have been through for the past 11 years? Knowing that this man has manipulated the justice, the system, and all of this. And it just brings back these memories and hot, you know. So I think he got what he deserved.
Thank you very much. Huh? What is this, a class?
Yeah. Yes. It's secretarial school.
So how do you feel?
I'm glad it's over. I think Mr. and Miss Leach can rest now. I'm just glad it's over, really.
You think he deserves the death penalty?
I do. I think 20's enough, and whatever else is left, you know, it's over. He won't be out again to do it over again to anybody else.
Rest easier that way?
I do. Today when I heard it, after I got through with my appointment, I heard it on the radio, and I was really glad. Yeah.
How about yourself?
I'm glad it's over. Now that I have a child of my own, I feel like what would I go through if it happened to my daughter, and I'm glad that it's over. It's been 10 years. I mean, now there's belief in the system that it does work, that they didn't pull him out at the last minute like they've done before. So I'm glad it's over, and I think everybody in this town is glad it's over too, because I don't think they really believed that it would happen this time either, like so many times before. You know, Kim had the right, just like in the Friday's paper, she had a right to live and to have a life of her own, and he stopped that. So I'm glad they stopped his.
Do you think by executing him, you've inflicted the kind of pain he put in so many other people?
No, not near enough. Not what he's done to other people, and right at the end it said that there was 20 other deaths or something that he committed or brought up. No, I don't think they've done near enough for him, really. And maybe that's a selfish opinion, and I shouldn't feel that way. But
I'm sorry he died.
No, I'm not.
Thank you. Do you know where?
I don't really want to do this. I'm sorry. Because I can't be sure that it was him.
No, but, okay, let me get over here. You've lived here?
I've lived here all my life, but I was living in California when I first heard it, as my father
So how
told
do you
me.
feel today now?
Oh, it was justified. There's no doubt about it. Because like I said, when I was living in California, reading the newspapers out there, I had read about the cases in Colorado, Oregon, Utah, everywhere. And then all of a sudden my father tells me about Florida. I said, my God, the man's gone all the way to Florida. And I just happened to be here visiting my parents when they found her body. So it really hit home, you know, so far away from home. And I come back here and I see this and I said, this is
Some
unreal.
people say this is inhumane.
For, you mean for him?
Death penalty?
No. No. It's justifiable. What about the victims? What about the victims that were tortured? That was inhumane, what he did to them. He got what he deserved. I really think he should have had more pain before he died. That might sound pretty hard, but just think about what happened to those poor young girls. Their lives were just took away so quick. She was just a child, and now, you know, she could be right now a mother, as I am. She never had that chance in life. Ted Bundy got what he deserved. I feel pity for his family, you know, but he lied and he lied. But finally, justice has prevailed. I think a lot of people here in Lake City will be rested from this.
All right. Thank you very much. Bundy was sentenced to death for the kidnapping and murder of 12-year-old Kimberly Leach. Today, the residents of her hometown of Lake City, Florida, say they're resting easier now that Bundy's gone.